Welcome back. We are here on chapter 1.7, Operations with Fractions and Mixed Numbers from Course 2A of Singapore Math. Here comes the independent practice. The question 1. Evaluate each expression. Give your answer in the simplest form. How do we resolve this? First and the foremost thing, do you see here we have plus and minus. So we are going to open up the bracket and rules state plus times minus equals to minus. Hence this becomes 1 over 2 minus 5 over 6. This can be resolved in two ways. Let's see both the ways. In this first method, we simply cross multiply like this and the denominators. Let's see how this works. 1 over 2 times 6 and 6 because that's the denominator of the second fraction minus 5 over 6 times 2 and 2 over here, which is equal to. So basically you take the denominator of the other fraction and multiply both numerator and denominator with that. Because we have to equalize the denominators. Unless and until your denominators are not same, you cannot carry out addition or subtraction. Remember that. For multiplication and division, it's okay. You don't need to have the same denominator. But for addition and subtraction, you need it. This turns out to be 6 over 12 minus 10 over 12, which is equal to. Now we see our denominators are same and hence we can do addition and subtraction. So this basically becomes 6 minus 10 over 12. This is how I can write it as they have the same denominator. And this turns out to be minus 4 over 12, which further simplified gives me 1 over 3 because to reach 4 to 12, you need to times it with 3 and that's your final answer. And the other method here is 2 and 6. They share some common factors because 2 times 3 gives us 6. So you try to make your denominator to be 6. And how do we make the denominator of the first fraction to be 6? We write this 1 over 2 times 2 times 3 gives us 6 and here 3 minus. Now the denominator of the second fraction is already 6. You're going to do nothing over there and that is 3 over 6, the first fraction, minus 5 over 6, which is equal to 3 minus 5 gives us minus 2 over 6 and this is further simplified to give us 1 over 3 and that's exactly the same answer over here. So either of the ways you can do it. Depending upon the fractions, you choose which method works for you. Let's go to the second one. Here I'm going to do the second method because 7 times 2 gives us 14. So I'm going to change my first fraction. The second one will remain as it is. So this is minus 6 over 7 and both of them multiply by 2 to make it 14 in the denominator plus 3 over 14, which is equal to 12 over 14 with the minus sign here, right? 6 times 2 is 12 plus 3 over 14, which is equal to minus 12 plus 3 gives us 9 with a negative sign over 14. And that's your final answer. So I opted for the second method because otherwise I would have to do 7 times 14. So I chose this method because calculations go faster with smaller numbers. Here comes the third one. Now here we have plus and minus. So our fraction is minus 1 over 7 and this is plus times minus giving us minus. So we put minus 3 over 5. Both are negative numbers. Now 7 and 5 do not share any common factors. So we will start with the first method over here, which is 1 over 7 times the denominator of the second fraction minus 3 over 5 times the denominator of the first fraction. Isn't this simple? You just have to choose the denominator of the other fraction, which leaves us with 5 over 35 with a minus sign and minus 21 over 35. Do you see we have already equalized the denominators? Now both are negative fractions, and when we have both negative numbers, we add them. So that gives us 26 and put a negative sign and the denominator as it is. It's done. You may pause video and try and solve rest of the questions from this section and check whether you know it. Are you good at it? You need more practice? You need more support? Let's see. And I'm also going to solve them here. First, I'm going to simplify this. 1 over 2 plus and minus gives us minus 2 over 5 plus 1 over 4. Now here we have 3 fractions. One of the ways is to do 2 and then take the third one. So you do it actually the whole process twice. But I'm going to use all my 3 fractions together. Now, what do you observe here? 2 times 2 gives us 4. So our common factor, the denominator for us should be 5 times 4, which is 20, right? So that's how you do the common denominator. How do we know what should be our denominator? So as we did in the second method, it's basically multiplying. But here we have 3 and 2 goes in 4. That's why we are not doing 5 times 4 times 2. We don't need to do this because 2 already goes in 4. So we'll make our denominator to be 20. 1 over 2. That is times 10. That gives us 20 minus 2 over 5 and times 4 to make it 20 plus 1 over 4 times 5. So our denominators are equalized. The first step, which is equal to 10 over 20 minus 8 over 20 plus 5 over 20. Do you see all our denominators are equal over here? And the answer for this is going to be here 10 minus 8 gives us 2 and again 5 over here. So our answer is going to be 7 over 20. And it's done. So either it's 2 fractions, 3 fractions, or any number of fractions. You don't need to worry. Try to get this, the common multiplier over here. And again, we are here with 3 fractions. Let's first simplify it. So this is going to be minus 1 over 7. And this becomes minus 5 over 6. Again, minus 1 over 3. Now, as we did in the first one, look at this. 3 times 2 gives us 6. So, we are going to only do 7 times 6, which is 42. So, our denominator has to be 42. Let's do that. 1 over 7 times. I'm leaving this now and we will do it later together. This way, I'm going a bit faster. And multiplication here. 7 times 6 gives me 42. 6 times 7 gives me 42. 3 times 14 gives me 42. And done, which is minus 6 over 42 minus 35 over 42 minus 14 upon 42. All our fractions are negative. So we are going to add all these numbers, which is 6 and 35 makes it 41. 41 plus 14 makes it 55 over 42. And remember the minus sign, as all the fractions are negative. The next here, oh, this is a simple one. Now here, it's 5 times 3, which is 15. So your denominator has to be 15. 3 over 5 times minus 2 over 3 times. What I'm going to times this with? This gets times with 3 and this one with 5. And that is 9 over 15 minus 10 over 15, which is minus 1 upon 15. So quick. Let's go fast. Now that you have mastered it, let's go fast. Minus 1 over 7 minus 3 over 14 as it is, no changes. And this is going to be 7 times 2 gives us 14, which is the denominator here. So we're not going to do anything to the second fraction. Minus 1 over 7, both this times by 2, minus 3 over 14, which is equal to minus 2 over 14 minus 3 over 14, which is equal to 5 over 14 and a negative sign. And it's done. Let's first solve this. So minus 1 by 5 plus 2 over 7. No common factors. So this becomes 35. Hence, minus 1 over 5, both times by 7, plus 2 over 7 and timed with 5, which is equal to minus 7 over 35 and plus 10 over 35. And that gives us the difference between minus 7 and 10 is 3 over 35. So basically you did 10 minus 7 and the sign of the bigger number, the larger number, and it's done. The next one, 1 over 3 plus, right, 2 over 5 minus 3 over 4. Now here you see you have all different numbers. They have nothing in common. So basically you will have to do 3 times 5 times 4, which is 60, right? This is 15 and then times 4. So that gives us 60. So our denominator has to be 60. So let's write all the fractions first as it is, and then we see what number do we have to multiply with. And that's done. Now, 3 times 20 gives us 60, right? So 3, if you take out this 3, what are we left with? 5 times 4, which is 20. So that way we know what we have to multiply. Same thing over here. 5, we are talking about 2 over 5. So the other two denominators are 3 and 4. We multiply them. That gives us 12. And here now 3 times 5 is 15. It's simple, which is equal to 20 over 60 plus 24 over 60 minus 45 over 60. Now 20 and 24 makes it 44, and this is minus 45. So the answer has to be minus 1 over 60, and it's done. The next one. Now we are here in the product section. So far it was addition and subtraction of the fractions. Now we are here into multiplication. And multiplication is simple. Here you don't need to equalize your denominators. So that makes it much easier. It's finding the common factors and deleting them. So here it is minus 7 over 25 times 5 over 14. This entire numerator is like we treat as numerator together and the denominator together. So 5 and this, right? 5 times 5 gives us 25. So we cancel that. And this is 7 times 2 gives us 14. And that's how you get your answer to be 1 over 10. But remember, we have one negative sign over here. So we are going to put negative sign here. Now, if you understand this, it goes faster. But if you want to simplify it, if this becomes difficult, it should not be. But for your initial practice, if you want to make it simple, I'll show you the other way. So I'm going to write this, and I'm writing here 5 times 5 instead of 25. And again, 5 here, 7 times 2 instead of writing 14. So that way I know what numbers I'm going to cancel. So 1 7 in the numerator, 1 7 in the denominator, 1 5 in the numerator, 1 5 in the denominator. And what are we left with in the numerator? Nothing. When it's nothing, we write 1, okay? And this is 5 times 2, 10. I also know that many of the students go very, very long route. And what do? They actually multiply. And I don't support this method because it takes longer, but you can practice it. So they do 7 times 5, that is 35. And then they also do 25 times 14 here, like this. And they say, okay, fine, like this. And let me do it my way and quickly. So that turns out to be 350. And then they say, okay, this is 1 over 10. This was easier because you had same numbers. But sometimes it gets more difficult with calculations because you're going bigger number. Next, now here you have minus sign also. 5 over 8 times minus 4 over 15. And that tells me 5 times 1, 5 times 3. 4 times 1, 4 times 2. So what's the answer here? What are we left in the numerator? 1. And this is plus and the next one is minus. So we'll have minus in our answer. 2 times 3 is 6. And it's done. So let's go fast and solve quickly. 7 over 30 times minus 6 over 7. This 7 and 7 out. 6 times 1 and 6 times 5. And the answer here will be minus 1. And in the denominator, we just have 5. Isn't this going really fast? Imagine you doing, say, 7 times 6, 42, and then 30 times 7, 210. And then you don't know what to do. You have to rush to your calculator. But eventually, when you go higher grades, some of your papers are without calculator. So it's better to practice this method. Next, now we have minus 8 over 27 times minus 9 over 40. Our answer is going to be positive or negative. We have negative times negative. So our answer has to be positive. Let's see the cancellations here. 8 times 1 and 8 times 5. 9 times 1 and 9 times 3, which gives us 1 over 15. Next, minus 11 over 16 times minus 4 over 33. Answer has to be positive because we have even number of negative sign, right? Let's do the cancellations. 11 times 3 and 4 times 4, which gives us 1 over 12. Now here we have a mixed number. We need to convert that into an improper fraction. And we know the rule. It is 2 times 5 plus 4 over 5. The denominator remains as it is and the minus sign over here. So 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14 over 5. So our second fraction is this. Ready to solve? 5 over 8 times minus 14 over 5. Let's get rid of the common factors. 5 and 5 is out. Now 8 and 14 do not cancel directly, but they do have common factor, which is 2, because the times table of 2 has both 8 and 14. So 8 and 14 are multiples of 2. 2 times 4 is 8. And this is 2 times 7. No more further common factors. In the numerator we have 7 and in the denominator we have 4. And remember the negative sign because one of the factors is negative, so it's plus times minus. Now you can leave it here if you are not asked to further make it a mixed number. If you want, we convert this. So this is basically 7 divided by 4. So this is 1 times 4 and here is the remainder 3. So we write quotient first, which is 1, and we write the remainder here and the denominator here. That's how you convert an improper fraction to a mixed number. Here again we have mixed number. Let's convert it. 1 times 6 plus 5 over 6, which is equal to 6 plus 5 over 6, and that is 11 over 6. Let's do the calculations. Minus 3 over 22 times 11 over 6. And the cancellations of the common factors. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 11 times 1 is 11. 11 times 2 is 22. And the answer is going to be 1 over 4 and a negative sign because only one fraction is negative. The next, let's convert this. 3 times 8 plus 1 over 8, which is 24 plus 1 over 8 equals to 25 over 8. And the calculations, 25 over 8 times minus 3 over 10. Time for cancelling the common factors. That's 5 times 5 and 5 times 2. Do we have more? No. So this is 5 times 3 here, which gives us 15. And in the denominator, 8 times 2 gives us 16. And remember your negative sign. Done. Now both the numbers are mixed numbers. So we have to convert them first. Let's do that. 4 times 2 plus 1 over 2, which is 9 over 2. And the other one here is 1 times 9 plus 8 over 9. This is equal to minus 17 over 9. 9 over 2 times minus 17 over 9. And here we see only this 9 being cancelled. And what are we left with? 17 over 2. And we will have a positive sign because this is negative, negative. Negative times negative gives us positive. You can leave it here, or if you want to convert, you do this. 2 times 8 gives us 16, remainder 1. So we write the quotient here, 8, and remainder over our divisor with a positive sign. We have to find the quotient. Evaluate each quotient over here. And when you have division, remember it just works like multiplication, but with one little change. The second fraction is inversed. So if you have 5 over 6, you're going to make it 6 over 5 and change this division sign to multiplication sign. And you just solve the way you do the multiplication. So let's try this one over here. 10, and we are going to make division as multiplication and reverse the second fraction. So it becomes 6 over 5. The positive, negative signs do not change, okay? So watch out for that. And now, as we did, find the common factors. 5 times 1 and 5 times 2, which gives us minus 12. That's it. Here we see there's nothing in denominator. So don't worry that, oh, there's nothing in denominator. As we said before, we don't need to equalize or treat it as if there was 1 over here, because when you divide 10 by 1, you're going to still get 10 over here. Let's move to the next one. So how do we do this? Remember the rule? We say 9 over 25, convert division into multiplication and reverse the second fraction. Now you'll be like, but this is not a fraction. As I said, divide by 1. So this becomes minus 1 over 18. So inversing means numerator becomes denominator and denominator becomes numerator. So 18 was a numerator and we have made it as a denominator now. And that's what we have to do. Now time for factors. 9 times 1, 9 times 2. That leaves us with 1 in the numerator and 2 times 25 as 50 in the denominator with a negative sign. Simple. Let's go. Minus 3 over 8 times 8 over 1. Right? 8 out. That gives me 3. And it's going to be positive number because minus and minus makes it positive. You can write it as 3 or you can write it as 3 over 1. It means the same. So now we are going to go faster because now we have understood the method. 1 over 4 times 8 over 3. 4 times 1, 4 times 2. So 2 over 3 with a minus sign. Next, 5 over 12 times minus 6 over 1. 6 times 1, 6 times 2, which is 5 times 1 is 5 and 2 in the denominator and a minus sign. So it's basically 5 divided by 2, which is minus 2.5. Done. Now conversion. So this is going to be minus 1 times 4 plus 1 over 4, which is minus 4 plus 1 over 4 and minus 5 over 4. So minus 5 over 4 times 4 over 3. 4 out, giving us 5 over 3 with a minus sign. If you want to further simplify, 5 divided by 3, here 3, remainder is 2. So quotient, remainder over divisor, mixed number. Conversion, let's convert. So minus sign here, 2 times 3 plus 2 over 3, which is minus 6 plus 2 over 3, which is equal to minus 8 over 3. It thus becomes this way, times and reverse the fraction. So this is 3 over 8. Cancellation time, 8 out, 3 times 1 and 3 times 5, giving us our answer to be minus 1 over 5. Conversion, 3 times 4 plus 3 over 4, which is 12 plus 3 over 4, giving us 15 over 4. That's our first fraction, 15 over 4. Division becomes multiplication and we reverse the second fraction. 4 out and the answer is 15 with a negative sign. Wow, that's going fast now. This becomes 2 times 2, 4. Now I'm going to do it orally. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So this is 5 over 2. And this one here will be 1 times 3 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So this is minus 5 over 3. My calculations will be 5 over 2, my first fraction. Division becomes multiplication and I inverse the second fraction. That means 5 and 5 is out and we are left with minus 3 over 2, which is nothing but minus 1 over 2, right? 3 divided by 2. 1 times 2, remainder is 1. The next, now they have all mixed numbers and we have to convert them each time. So orally as we did, 2 times 7 is 14. 14 plus 2 is 16 over 7. 1 times 7 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. So this is 10 over 7. Our two fractions are ready. 16 over 7, the first fraction. Then multiplication, inverting the second fraction over here. 7, 7 out. Now 16 and 10 has 2 in common. This becomes 2 times 8 and this becomes 2 times 5. So the answer is 8 over 5 with a negative sign over here, which is minus 1, 3 over 5, right? 1 times 5 is 5. 5 plus 3 gives us 8, which is the numerator. So that's the answer. The next, minus 7 divided by, now this is again a division sign. So as we did previous questions, minus 7 times inverse the second fraction. And this, if you want, you can put 1 if that helps you, but not required. 7, 7 out, and that's 3 only. We have 2 negatives, even number of negatives gives answer as positive. Done. Minus 2 over 3. Division becomes multiplication and 1 over 4. 2 times 1, 2 times 2, which is minus 1 over 6. Only one negative sign, so answer has to be negative. Minus 3 over 4. Division becomes multiplication and we inverse the second fraction, which is equal to cancellation. 4 times 1, 4 times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6 and the denominator is 5. Both negative, so answer has to be positive. And if you want to convert, you can do 1 over 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. So that's what your numerator is. So actually you can do this mentally, but that happens with practice. Minus 1 over 5 over here. Division becomes multiplication and this has to be converted. So 1 times 15 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. And that's the fraction. And we are going to inverse this. 15 over 17. 5 times 1, 5 times 3. So the answer is minus 3 over 17. One negative fraction, so answer has to be negative over here. We have done 32 questions and here we are on question 33. And from here begins word problems or story problems. I know most of the students find this difficult, but believe me, they're not difficult. Just read your question well, and it's the same process. Let's get started. Danielle biked 9 over 10 miles on Saturday and 7 over 10 miles on Sunday. Let's write this information. On Saturday, it is 9 over 10. On Sunday, it is 7 over 10. How much further did Daniel bike on Saturday than on Sunday? You need to find what this word says. You have to find the difference. You can see on Saturday, he did more than on Sunday. It means simply doing this minus. So Saturday minus Sunday, which is 9 over 10 minus 7 over 10. Are you going to convert this mixed numbers to improper and then do the calculation? Well, that's a way. That is possible. But my numbers are telling me something else. Remember, numbers speak. You just need to hear them well. What is my number telling me? These denominators are same. So I can simply do 15 minus 6, which is equal to, how much is it? 9. And then do this separately. 9 over 10 minus 7 over 10, which is 2 over 10. And simply put them together. So this becomes 9, 2 over 10. Do you see how fast it was? It went faster because I did not convert my mixed number into an improper fraction. I played it smart, and that's what you have to do. Maths makes you smart. You have to practice and then the numbers will start telling you. and it will go really, really, really fast for you. The next one, a recipe calls for 3/4 cup of flour, but David has only 1/3 cup of flour. Poor him. How much more flour does he need? It tells you what you have to do, right? Let's write it down. Total, how much is required, which is 3/4. What he has, how much he has? 1/3. So if you find the difference, you will know how much more he needs. That means 3/4 minus 1/3. Once you get this, you solve as you solved previous questions, right? Equalizing the denominator. So this has to be 4 times 3, 12. That's how you make the denominators same. 3/4 times 3, 3 minus 1/3 times 4, 4, which is equal to 9/12 minus 4/12, and that is 5/12. So that's what he needs more. This is the amount of flour that David needs. Aren't they simple? The next one. A weather report showed that the rainfall in Janesville was 2/3 inches during the first half of January. So first part of the January, it was 2/3 inches. Remember to write units when they are giving you. At the end of January, when is it? At the end. The total, basically they are giving you the total over here, which is this much, 3/1/4 inches. How much did it rain in the second half? So what do you have to find? Second half. And how do you find that? The total for the whole month is given to you. And if you subtract from that the first half, you're going to get the second half, right? It's basically like if this is the total that's given to you. And then the first half is also given to you. So how do you find the second half here? Total minus first half. Now both the numbers are mixed numbers, so we have to convert it. Let's do that first. So this here, it becomes 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13/4. And this one here becomes 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8/3. Now I'm doing this orally because you have seen lots of videos, you have practiced enough, so you can also do orally now. So that is basically 13/4 minus 8/3. We have to equalize the denominator, and that is going to be 12, which means 13/4 and both timed by 3 minus 8/3 timed by 4, which is equal to 39/12 minus 32/12, which is 7/12. So that's the rainfall in the second half, 7/12 inches. Rainfall in second half of January, and it's done. Even the story problems, the word problems are going faster for us now. Wow. That means we are getting really good at math. The sum of two rational numbers is this. What are we given? The sum, which is 5/1/2. Let's convert this. So that is 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11/2. If one of the numbers is 6/3/14, which is equal to 6 times 14 plus 3/14, which is equal to 87/14. Find the other number. So basically it's sum, right? So we have two numbers. The total is given to us. We are given one number. You have to find the other number. So it's like, you know, there's one number which is 87/14 plus the other number, let's say x, equals to 11/2. So you're expected to find this. So to do that, you actually subtract this one aside, right? So basically it is 11/2 minus 87/14. I know 4 times 7 gives us 14. So I'm only going to change my first fraction, which becomes 11 over 2, and both multiply with 7 minus 87 over 14, which is equal to 77 over 14 minus 87 over 14, and that is 10 over 14 with a negative sign because a larger number is negative over here, which is equal to, I can further simplify because they both have a common factor. So this is 2 times 5 and this is 2 times 7. So my other number is a negative number, minus 5 over 7. So when you add this number here and this number here, you are going to get the total over here. Ready for the next one? Melanie adds 1 by A plus minus 1 by B. She's adding this to number and says that the answer is this. Give an example to show that Melanie is wrong. Of course, she is wrong, and you know why she is wrong. Are we supposed to solve like that? No, we have to equalize the denominators. So let's skip A and B as it is. And if we were to solve this, how would we solve? 1 over A, and this becomes minus 1 over B, right? Because we have plus and minus. And we have to cross multiply now. Our product has to be A times B, which is AB. That's the denominator you need. So we do 1 over A and times B minus 1 over B times A, which is equal to B over AB minus A over AB. So we can actually write one denominator because they both are same. So this is B minus A. That should be the answer and not 1 over A minus B. So Melanie, you need to watch these videos and you won't make the mistakes that you are making, because I'm confident that the students who are watching these videos, they are learning, and I'm sure they are very careful with this kind of things and they are not making the mistake that you are making. Question 38. Joanne multiplies two mixed numbers and the numbers are here as follows. Spot the error. Okay, so what Joanne has done? So he takes this 4 and this one and multiplies. Then he takes this fraction and then multiplies. You can't be doing that way. When you have mixed numbers, the first thing you need to do is convert them into improper fractions. So here, minus 4, 3 upon 5 equals to minus 4 times 5 plus 3 upon 5, which is equal to minus 4 times 5 is 20 plus 3 upon 5, which is equal to minus 23 upon 5. You convert the next one. 2 upon 7 equals to 1 times 7 plus 2 upon 7, which is equal to 7 plus 2 upon 7, and that is 9 upon 7. So that's the first step. Once you have improper fractions, you multiply them. So we say minus upon 5 times 9 upon 7. Okay? So 23 times 9 is how much? Let's do the calculations here. 23 times 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 2 carry. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. So that is minus sign 207 upon 5 times 7 is 35. And now you divide this again to get a mixed number. So let's do the division here. 207 divided by 35. 35 times 5 is 175. Okay, so we will try with 5 here. So that's 175. So we get 2 here. 20 minus 17 is 3. So 32 is the remainder. So the answer is minus 532 upon 35, right? We write the quotient here, the remainder here, and the divisor here. So this is the answer. Look at his answer and look at our answer here. So you cannot do what he has done here. Whenever you have a mixed number, convert it into improper fraction and then multiply. Okay? So that's it. Package A weighs 1/2 pounds and package B is 1/4. Find the average weight of two packages. Average weight. Average is total divided by the number of things that we have. So we have two packages. We are going to divide it by 2. Let's write the information to help us. A is 5/1/2, which is 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11/2 pounds. And B is 1/4, which gives us 1 times 4 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5/4 pounds. And we need to find the average. For that, first we are going to find the total. And how do we get total? By adding both of them, which is 11/2 plus 5/4. Now here, 2 times 2 gives us 4. So we are only going to change our first fraction, which is equal to 11/2 both times with 2 plus 5/4, which is equal to 22/4 plus 5/4, and that is 27/4 pounds. We have the total over here. Now, what are we expected to find? Do we need only total? No, we need the average. And as we said, to get the average, we are going to do total upon divided by the number of things that we have, which is 2. So our total is 27/4 divided by 2. And you know division. What do we do? 27/4 division becomes multiplication, and we inverse the second fraction. So this becomes 27/8. There's no common factors to cancel, and that is 8 times 3 is 24. And if you subtract 24 from 27, your remainder will be 3, and you write your denominator. So that's the average for two packages. And the 40th, 2 more questions and the chapter is done. A scientist measured the weight of some damp soil. After exposing the soil to the air for 1/2 weeks. So the exposition, how long was it? Let's write the information. 1/2, which is 9/2. The scientist found that the weight had decreased by 5/8 ounces. So what's the weight decrease that we have? 5/8, which is equal to 5 times 8 is 40. 40 plus 5 is 45/8 ounces decrease. Find the soil's average weight loss per week. What are we supposed to find? Per week. So this is the total weeks for which it was exposed, and that's the decrease in ounces. How do we find the loss, which is like average per week? Basically, you have to divide it, right? When you're finding the average, as we did in the previous one, total divided by 2 gave us the average. So average involves division, and which means this average loss. So this is the total loss that we had, and we divided by the duration for which it was exposed. Okay, so this is the weight and this is the duration for which it was exposed. And as we did before, 45/8, division becomes multiplication, and we inverse the second fraction. So this is 2 times 1, 2 times 4. 9 times 1 and 9 times 5, which leads us to 5 over 4. And we can convert it back. So that's 1 over 4, because 1 times 4 is 4, 4 plus 1 gives us 5, and that's 5 over 4. So that's the average loss per week, right? Per week, that's the loss that's happening. Okay, easy. Question 41. A plank measures 4 3/4 feet. So that's the total given to us. Rachel cuts off 2/5 of the plank. So that's what she is cutting off. How long is the plank now? So we are given total here. Let's convert this total into an improper fraction. So we know that this is 4 times 4, 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. So 19 upon 4. And now she cuts off 2/5 of the plank. How much is she cutting off? 2/5 of the plank, which means we multiply of the plank, the total, right? So that's 19 upon 4. We know that 2 times 1 and 2 times 2 here, right? So this is basically 19 upon 10. So this is what's being cut off, and that's the total here. And how do we find what's left? Total minus cut off, right? So we say what's left equals to total minus cut off, which is equal to 19 upon 4 minus 19 upon 10. We do not have same denominator, so we cannot do the subtraction directly. We got to equalize them, right? So this is 2 times 2 and this is 2 times 5. What's common? 2 is common. So we are going to use the uncommon factor to equalize our denominators, right? So that's basically 19 upon 4 times minus 19 upon 10 times. What's uncommon here? 5. So we write 5 and 5. What's uncommon here? 2 and 2. I know we have 2. This is common, right? But we still have one more 2. So we got to consider that. And 19 times 5 is 95 upon 20 minus 19 times 2 is 38 upon 20. And that is equal to 95 minus 38. So if you do counting by 10, that's 48, 58, 68, 78, 88. That's 50. And 88 to 95 is 7. So that's basically 57 upon 20. Okay? And if you want, you can convert this again into a mixed number. 20 goes twice. That's 40. And we are left with 17. So that's the answer. And the unit's always important. So that's the answer. 17 upon 20 feet is what's being left now. There's another method to do this, and I'll show that here. You can use which you find is easier for you. Now it says 2/5 is cut off, right? 2/5 is cut off. Let me write this here. It's total. Total we consider as 1, right? The whole. What do we need to add to get here 1? The denominator has to be same, right? Then only you can add it. If the denominator is 5, your numerator should also be 5. We have 2 here, so we need 3 here. So what is left is 3/5. 2/5 is cut off. What is left is 3/5. So what we do is 3/5 of what is left. 3/5 of the total, right? So that's 19 upon 4. And here we do not have any common factor, so we simply do the multiplication. So 19 times 3 is 57, and 5 times 4 is 20, and that's exactly what you have here. So whichever method you find is easy, you can go. I know you feel like doing this because this is very short, right? So this is it. So the chapter ends here. We have done 41 questions so quickly. Thank you. Have fun, enjoy your studies, and do watch other videos and get good at math. All the best and bye-bye.